The US dollar is trying to recoup losses it suffered yesterday due to high speculative activity. Investors suppose that next week the Federal Reserve will raise the key rate for the last time, thus putting an end to the cycle of monetary policy tightening. At the meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, it's likely to have a considerable influence on the traders' sentiment. In our video review, we will focus on this and other events. You are watching a Traders Calendar on the InstaForex TV channel. The European Central Bank will also take a key rate decision next week. Investors are interested in the condition and future of the European economy, not less than in the US key interest rate decision. That's why on Monday, all eyes will be turned to the reports from market economics, and they will disclose initial estimates of the business activity in the key Eurozone economies. The manufacturing PMI data for Germany, the main Eurozone economy, will be of greatest importance. The fact is that Germany has tapped into a technical recession. Traders will assess the future situation in the region's economy using the expected data. At the present, forecasts do not suggest any positive scenario. Last month's economies recorded the worst performance since the pandemic, and this was explained by consumer hesitation and lower demand caused by high inflation and expensive loans. In the best-case scenario, in July, the manufacturing PMI will slacken its decline. In the United States, business activity in the manufacturing sector is also falling. However, the composite PMI is staying above 50 points thanks to the services sector. Let us return to the situation in Europe. Investors hoped that experts at the IFO Institute would publish positive business climate figures. However, the forecasts are pretty gloomy. The indicator is likely to shrink to the 8-month low. In this light, expectations of a new interest rate hike by the ECB is the only factor that may support the euro. The fact is that the European Central Bank goes on combating high inflation. And notably, the central banks of all main economies are fighting against inflation. The Reserve Bank of Australia is also among them. On Wednesday, Australia will issue a report on consumer price growth. Their inflation is slackening slowly and hardly noticeably. However, according to the forecast, in the second quarter, inflation may slide to a 3-month low of 6.2%. At a recent meeting, the Reserve Bank of Australia decided not to raise the benchmark rate, intending to take a pause and assess the effect of the previous rate hikes. However, the regulator emphasized that to reach targeted levels, it could be necessary to continue monetary policy tightening. Now, investors are looking forward to the inflation figures from Australia, and they want to get additional information about the economy and the key rate dynamic. Later on Wednesday, the Federal Open Market Committee will announce its decision on the key rate. Analysts assure that the regulator will raise the benchmark rate by 25 basis points, and traders have partly priced in this information. That's why investors are likely to focus rather on changes in the Fed's rhetoric than on its actions. If at the press conference officials drop hints about the further key rate hike and monetary authorities display discontent over the pace of inflation slackening, the US dollar is likely to jump. For your reference, inflation is slowing down quite rapidly. That's why the Federal Reserve officials are likely to be satisfied with the result of the monetary policy tightening. In the event of this, the greenback is likely to lose value. We will monitor the market reaction to the above-mentioned reports. Subscribe to the channel and follow changes in market sentiment with us. Any comments, questions and offers are welcomed. We wish you profitable trading and see you soon!